What's up, guys? Happy Friday, July 22nd to 2022, man. It has been a minute since we went live on this channel. MLB All-Star Week this week. Yesterday was a weird slate, and then as a full-timer, content creator, and grinder, there's not a whole lot of breaks in the year to take some time off, but I strategically found one between last week and this week, so got a little recharged here. We're gonna grind out the next month or so, waiting for football to come back, waiting for basketball to come back, but we should have pretty steady content here for baseball in the next month or so. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys looking for us. I didn't really super plan it. I was just like, man, I am exhausted. I need a break. So we took a break, but we're back. And we have a big slate tonight. A really, really big slate. I believe it's 13 games on the DraftKings and Fanduel. There was a double header, but it looks like that's not going to impact much here. So you guys know the drill, man. We're going to research as we go, look at the options here. It was kind of not a slow developing slate, but I saw earlier that we were just getting a couple pitchers rolled out, announced, and confirmed. Some totals were late to drop. So I think we have most of the information that we need now. So we'll go game by game here. We'll type up some confirmed lineups, some projected lineups, do a little research on pitchers. Going to be using the RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheet. You guys know the drill. You want access to it, go to RunDFS.com, click VIP memberships. Try a week pass, but I think the best bang for your buck right now, it's going to be this rest of the year pass, $100 credit towards Cruncher, so you could rebate it down to $200 after the fact, and then it gets you all access VIP and the RunDFS.com VIP Discord till the end of the year. And that's going to cover all almost all of NFL, right, up until January 1. Good chunk of NBA. My favorite chunk of NBA is the beginning, the first month, and then, of course, the rest of baseball. So, good way to support the stream, support the site, and then, of course, get a little bit more. We'll talk about more about it later. But shout out to the live chat. Shout out to you guys, 17 viewers. Shout out to Exit Screaming. Says, oh, cool, I can cancel that missing persons report. Yeah, I was gone. But I was gone, but I wasn't gone. If you're in a Discord, you've seen me. It's just, I've talked about it almost ad nauseum. Is whenever, like, my schedule's just busy and something needs to be sacrificed, unfortunately, baseball content is, like, expendable, right? For those of you that grind with us for NFL and for NBA, like, right now we would have couple hundred viewers, at least 100, right? And then we'll build up to like 300. Baseball content's not like as strong. So if we got a Yankee, we got a Yankee sometimes. So no biggie. What up, Brian? What up, Mighty Saint? What up, Skimmer? What up, Anthony? What up, Tony? Everyone in the chat is winning Monday night. Let's go. That's the vibes that we want. Anyway, let's start typing up some games here. Actually, let's go check out some weather, right? We usually check out Kevin Ross' weather report. Also, it's been a while since I did this for the music, so the music's too loud. Looks like a pretty good day for weather in terms of no rain. Just to get caught up, Miami, Pittsburgh, green, yellow, low chance of stray shower causing brief delay. Cool. Yankees at the Orioles, hot, humid, winds gently out to center, stray shower or two around, unlikely to cause any problems. The Cubbies at the Phillies, hot and humid, winds a bit out to right, a bit left to right, 5 to 10. All right. Blue Jays at the Red Sox, 90 degrees with winds blowing out to center. Woo, it's going to be an offensive day, ain't it? Padres at the Mets, a few quick moving downpours in the area. Delay is possible, but not the most likely outcome. Cool. Angels at the Braves, a couple quick pop-ups, blah, 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 blah. Rays and the Royals, hot, humid. Yep, a lot of hot and humid going on tonight, right? All right, cool. So no rain that we have to keep an eye on, but we might keep an eye on some of these temperatures, man. It is hot. It is hot out there in the world. Hopefully you guys are staying cool. There was like a 3-day... Yesterday was like the first day I opened my front door in like 3 days, bro. It is steaming out there, bro. I'll let y'all have it. But let's get some games punched into the spreadsheet here. We're going to start with the New York Yankees. Why wouldn't we? Taking on the Baltimore Orioles. The Yankees had a rough 2 games yesterday against the Astros. Kind of, I want to say punt games and not fair games, but, Yankees had like 4 or 5 people at the All-Star game. We had to use Domingo Germán, JP Sears. Wasn't really our A pitchers, so I didn't expect much. But both games were kind of close. Judge made that second game close at the end. In the first game, I think it was like 1-run game. But that's just the Astros, man. Astros feel like the only team, whenever, like, of all the teams we played, the Astros feel like the only team that belong on the same field as the Yankees. And ESPN put up a pretty crazy stat this morning. The Yankees have not thrown a single pitch against the Astros this year while holding a lead. Every game that the Yankees won, I believe both of them were Aaron Judge walk-offs. So, if you're Brian Cashman, I think when you are making moves right now, you know how NBA teams were making teams about what can beat LeBron in the postseason? I think you got to build a team what can beat the Astros here. And hopefully it's not Domingo Germán and JP Sears. My heart's on Louis Castillo. Tyler Wells on the bump for the Orioles. Jameson Taillon on the bump for the Yankees. Taillon with a 3.96 expected ERA this season. Sub 20% K rate. Tyler Wells, a 3.41 expected ERA, a 4.58 Sierra, and a 17% K rate. So he's kind of all over the place. I can't imagine neither pitcher here is going to walk away being one of our more sought after targets tonight. Excuse me, I don't know, my throat's scratchy. 6.37 Ks this last couple games. I'm more interested in the pitch count. Looks about 90 pitches is what we might expect here. I don't think I'm gonna get to either pitcher as a priority here. Let me open up my player pool, by the way. All right, cool. And I think both offenses obviously are in play. I'm more inclined to get to the Yankees. Yankees have a 5.1 implied run total. Orioles at 4.1. I think you could justify either pitcher. I think you'd be more likely to justify Jameson Taillon, 1-in-5 K rate. But this is a scrappy Orioles team, and they've been putting up a string of wins, and also just teams like to play up against the Yankees, and I think this young and hungry Orioles team will want to do the same here. So you might expect the Yankees, or at least Jameson Taillon, to want to get some length after a doubleheader yesterday. I doubt Taillon was even in Houston. He's probably been waiting on him. But I'm just going to stick with the offenses from now. So let me start my stack list here. We're going to put Yankees here. I'll put Orioles a little further down. Let me see what the bullpen report after yesterday for the Yankees. Abreu, Chapman through, Michael King through. So King and I don't know, Loaizaga might be available, but we didn't see Clay Holmes. So he might be available for the 9th if it stays close. Trying to think. Yeah, maybe King and Loaizaga might throw back-to-back days. It's possible, especially after some rest. So the main reason I'm thinking is because I think Taillon is definitely a guy you can pick on, but I do wonder how many quality innings of pitching you can get out of a Yankee game when the bullpen is rested, and it's usually not a ton. So I don't think the Orioles are out of play, but I do worry about the bullpen maybe chopping this game in half. Or on the flip side here is if the Yankees do take a big lead, and they do like to play in Camden, will the not high leverage arms come out and create more positive expectations? This is a really cheap stack, are the Orioles, and teams do play with nothing to lose against the Yankees, and the Yankees are a big base stealing team. So maybe I definitely like the thought of Mullins, Rushman, Mancini, Santander, Mountcastle, Austin Hayes. That's a really fun 1 through 6. So maybe they make the stack list. They're definitely a sub stack that I can get behind, like without a doubt. So we're gonna keep them down here. I'm gonna go Yankees at the top. Right now, I'm gonna keep both pitchers out of my player pool. If 8,300 Jameson Taillon fell into a couple lineups later, I'm not gonna lose any sleep. There's definitely some strikeouts in the bottom half of this lineup that he might steal. So let's go refer to PrizePicks and see what Taillon's strikeout prop is at. It's at 4.5. That's really low. If the full game prop is 4.5, that probably means you can probably catch a in-game value line. So like if you waited and were patient for the bottom of this Orioles lineup, right, the Rookies, the Urias, maybe Mateos, if they put them at half a strikeout for like that lane during the live betting process, maybe I'd take that. But 4.5 is kind of like on the nose for Taillon. He's not really a big strikeout guy. He can get him though, but that's not really what you play him for, you know. What up, Salamo? You produce the best MLB daily fantasy content, man. I appreciate that. What up, Andrew? What up, Jason? Here. Hope you guys are doing all right. All right, let's move on to the next game. And it's the Cubbies and the Phillies. We're getting some lineups dropping here. I like this. You think these teams would know by now who's playing after a couple days off, right? Rafi, Ortega. So this is a projected lineup for the Cubs. Ortega, Wilson Contreras, Ian Happ, Seiya Suzuki, Nico Herner, Frank Schwindel, Patrick Wisdom. The hope, I don't know if it's the hope, but I have a light plan, and maybe I'll wait till more people get here to kind of get the feedback, because every time I put up the poll, the public votes for early content. So like instead of live streaming daily, like a morning podcast or something, that way I don't feel as bad if I have to miss a stream, and it gets more soak time. So I don't know, I'm thinking about a different way to deliver some content. But I also just like, this is part of my process, doing some work. I'd be doing this whether the go live button was clicked or not. So I guess that's something we'll talk about when more people get here, is Do you guys prefer the live streams over some produced, uploaded content? Maybe there's a world where I can do both, but we'll see. Like I said, MLB content really doesn't get clicks like that. Phillies hosting the Cubs. Justin Steele on the bump for the Cubs. Phillies going to be throwing Kyle Gibson. We do have a confirmed Phillies lineup, still waiting on that Cubs lineup. Kyle Gibson, for some reason, at home this year, 3.76 xFIP, a 4.8% walk rate, a 157 home run per nine, and almost a 21% K rate. I think actually in his last home game, I want to say against the Cardinals, he got beat up. But before that, his home numbers were pretty pristine. Yeah, Cardinals rocked him. He's another guy, kind of Tyone-ish, right? Where he can get 1 in 5 strikeouts, 20% K rate. But that's not really his game. He's cheaper than Tyone, and the matchup is probably better than Tyone, so I do think you could justify him in the way back end of a 150 at 6,800. Can he get you 12 to 15 fantasy points in your SP2 spot? I don't think he's worthy of being a Fanduel only selection for me, but I could see him in the back end of 150 at 6,800, making a couple lineups. So maybe I go there. His weakness this year, a little bit of a long ball problem to righties, 1.3 overall home run per nine. He really struggles against lefties, and this has been the case the last 3 years. Probably an aggregate 4.85 xFIP against lefties the last 3 years. This Cubs projected lineup really only gives us 3 guys in the left batter's box for now. That's going to be Rafi Ortega, Ian Happ, and Alfonso Rivas. And really, Ian Happ is the main issue there. So if you want to isolate a guy to maybe play from the Cubs, maybe that's your guy. I don't have anyone with a bomb detector rating over 4 for the Cubs. And then let's move on to the Phillies. The Phillies, I definitely think I'm going to be interested in. But Justin Steele, to his credit, has been keeping the ball on the ground. Over 50% ground ball rate to both sides of the plate so far this year. 0.71 homer per nine to righties. Hasn't allowed a homer to lefties yet. That's kind of the reason you play Kyle Schwarber. And Schwarber's going to be pushing 6K. So not really a positive matchup pre-flop, but what you can bank on with Justin Steele is some walks. 11.5% walk rate to lefties, almost a 10% to righties, a 1.4 whip because he's a big ground ball pitcher. And if you can, create those stressful innings, that 1.4 whip, meaning 1.4 players are reaching base per inning. Maybe that means Justin Steele won't be long for this game, and then we can dip into the bullpen. A unique thing about coming off of the All-Star break that we are maybe going to have to forecast tonight and, going forward the next couple days. There's a lot of teams were able to hit the reset button on everything, the bullpen and the starters. So I don't think we've had a slate full of this quality pitching in a while. So it's a lot harder to get to these Justin Steeles, these Tyones, and these Kyle Gibsons because teams are resetting there every 5 days, and we got Max, we got Corbin Burns, Logan Webb, Darvish, Gossman, Ohtani. It's pretty dirty up there, right? So I can't imagine that I'd be too curious with these bottom of the barrel guys. But to touch on Steele again, with that whip, maybe he elevates his pitch count early and gets kicked out of the game. But to his credit, 5+ innings out of him, really, as far as the eye can see here, last 10 starts. So you're really only banking on 3-4 innings of bullpen guys because Steele's not going to allow a lot of power. And on a Friday night 13-game slate, your lineup's going to need to be chock full of 4 or 5 homer stacks. And I don't know if Steele's the guy that we want to target for that. So I do like the Phillies generally against lefties. Rhys Hoskins, JT Realmuto, and Rhys Hoskins, who usually goes nuts in the bomb detector against lefties, only a 3.89 rating in the bomb detector, and we look for 4+ as the big number, and that's Justin Steele's credit with this ground ball rate. So definitely can be done, but it's a little harder to project, and I think the range of outcomes is pretty broad here. So we're gonna get to some Phillies stacks just by almost habit at this point. I love stacking Phillies in Citizens Bank. It is over 90 degrees. That's gonna be one of the more hitter-friendly parks on the slate, especially for power. but we definitely give Justin Steele his respect. So I'm not going to go too crazy with the percentage of equity that I'm going to give to these Philly stacks, but I'll sign up for Hoskins or Realmuto against a contact lefty, even though that lefty is pretty good at suppressing power, and just hope the ballpark comes out and play. But it won't be like a 20% or 15% stack. Probably going to be like a 6%er. Yeah. Oh no, we've got botted up. I looked away for 1 second. There we go. Sorry, chat. I had that. Burns, Giolito, or Ohtani Morton? Probably Burns, Giolito, but that's not a snap call. But probably Burns, Giolito. I love Burns like the most out of probably every pitcher tonight. Let's get the next game typed up. Marlins and the Pirates. This game's up in PNC. Almost 90 degrees up there, too. The boy from Cali, 12. Appreciate that sub, man. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're doing all right. All right, Marlins lineup. Neither one of these is confirmed right now, but it's Joey Wendell, Garrett Cooper, Jorge Soler, Jesus Aguilar, Brian Anderson, Nick Fortes. All right, cool. Braxton Garrett taking on Zach Thompson. We did that wrong. I'm going to put lefty there. Should be a fun slate for pitching. And if you guys remember, down the stretch before the All-Star break, man, it was rough to get some aces, man. And now we get them all in the same slate. So the inverse to that is we're probably going to get a couple slates in the next 5 days that suck for pitching. You know what I mean? All these day 4s and day 5s going at it. Braxton Garrett and Zach Thompson. Braxton Garrett, 4.1 expected ERA. He's got a 23% K rate, 12.5% swing and strike rate. Usable numbers there, especially against the Pirates, who have a ton of strikeout potential. Besides Kevin Newman, Brian Hayes, and Jason DeLay, this is a aggregate like 30% K rate through the 3-hole through the 8-hole. So again, we talk about these live strikeout props over on PrizePicks. If you maybe be patient, don't if you don't want to take the full game, you just want to get into that second and third inning, that's when the upside for Garrett strikeouts really hits. So maybe something to jot down there. And then, is Garrett playable? Man, PNC Park definitely a typically pitcher friendly park. The weather might change some things, and I think the Pirates team is pretty fun, and their lineup is pretty let's say it's flexible, meaning it could look completely different than this lineup, right? They've got guys that they can throw in there, but I think this projected lineup is pretty close to what we might expect. So Braxton Garrett is 7,400 on DraftKings. I'd be looking for 16 to 20 fantasy points as a baseline. We saw 32 against the same Pittsburgh team, 11 strikeouts in that game. And then we saw a lot of games where he's not matching his innings with strikeouts. And looking at that swing and strike rate at 12.5%, I do think that's maybe a little unlucky because when we get to the 12.5% to 12+%, that tells me the guy can miss some bats here. So I kind of have an interest in Garrett. But maybe since we do have a slate with like Corbin Burns and guys like that, maybe we take some action on him elsewhere. He's at 5.5 strikeouts on PrizePicks. So with a pitch count that hit 100 finally after a bunch of 85 pitches, I wonder if that was just like, hey man, we gotta get to this All-Star break or not. But if that's the case, I might be interested in Garrett's strikeout prop. I'm gonna not lock it in yet, waiting for the confirmed lineup. But if I'm working on some notes here, how about Braxton Garrett over 5.5 Ks, and then I'll asterisk because I would like to see the confirmed lineup before we lock that in. What's Underdog got it at? Braxton, they got him at 5. Ooh, that's nice. So that's even better, right? We can push on the 5, and I think 5 is looking really good. Underdog. Let's go Underdog leans. Braxton Garrett over 5 Ks. They also met 90.5 pitch counts, and he just went over 100. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's going to be like the goal for them. Like I said, now that teams have rested bullpens, but something to keep an eye on. I like that strikeout prop. I definitely think 1 per inning is viable against this version of the Pirates lineup, you know. What up, Aaron? That bum trout hurt again. Oh my god. Oh my god. Chad, I got some Kool-Aid in the cup. Check this out, little Dr. Pepper cup. Huh? Was that, you guys remember like old Pizza Huts? And they had these type of cups. I think they were like Coke cups, but this cup came from, I live in a town where Dr. Pepper was created, so they have like a museum, and these cups came from the museum. It's pretty cool. Gosh dang it with these bots, man. I need more mods. Other mods left. What a pinstripe. Zach Thompson pitching for the Pirates here. He's bad. 5.16 expected ERA, just a 16% K rate. We're not playing him, not even against the Marlins. Would be looking to pick on him maybe here in 90-degree weather. Weakness being power to righties so far. Almost a 1.9 home run per 9-2 righties. I'm surprised that I'm not getting any like 4 ratings in a bomb detector, but Jorge Soler, Jesus Aguilar, definitely guys that can tap into that. Maybe some Garrett Cooper. So a lot of one-offs, maybe a couple 3-man stack potential for me here. I don't know if I'm going to go on slot 5-man here, but yeah, Zach Thompson gonna let you put the ball in play and put his defense to work. And it's still a young team defensively and offensively, so not playing him. I think we could justify Braxton Garrett in like a tier 3 setting here, so let's do that. Let's put Braxton down here, just because it does look like there's a little bit of strikeout upside, you know. All right, so let's move on from that game. Let's go Blue Jays and the Sox. Red Sox. Shout my boy. Who do we got in the community now that's Red Sox fan? Tizzle Main, right? I played some Fortnite with him. I'm not working with a Blue Jays confirmed lineup right now. We're going off the projected, but we do have a confirmed Red Sox lineup, so that's good. Kevin Gossman on the bump for the Jays. If you guys haven't been paying attention to the playoff standings, the AL East is really, really strong. I think every team is above 500 now, and that rarely happens. So all these these division games, especially for the teams with expectations, the Red Sox, Blue Jays, I guess heck, you could you could have expectations for the Orioles too. But whenever these teams play each other now down the stretch, it's gonna be meaningful. So I'll show you guys the AL East standings. Oh, the Orioles are at 500. Okay, so Red Sox are two games behind the Blue Jays in the standings, and I know everyone's basically playing for like home court or home field advantage in the wild card at this point. But I mean, this is a 3-game race between Rays and Red Sox here, and Blue Jays. And if we look at the MLB standings, and I believe if the playoffs started, I think the Mariners jumped it, but at one point there was like 4 teams out of the AL East that were eligible to go to the playoffs with the new expanded playoff system. So the wild card right now would be Tampa, Blue Jays, and the Red Sox are 2 games out. So yeah, the Mariners jumped, but 3 of the top 4 teams in that wild card race are from the AL East. So these games are going to be meaningful. These teams are going to come a little pep in their step. Eovaldi just returned for the Red Sox. Definitely a sorely needed arm for them. 4.1 innings that last outing against the Yankees. Just about 80 pitches there, so probably expect them to be 90, 95 here. What we saw in that game, Let's pull this up on Fangraphs. Eovaldi's a guy that relies on a lot of velocity. Double Tommy John, if you guys don't know his story. So I'm going to check what his velocity numbers were in that first game back. You always want to be sure. Let's go pitch type. He got 95 miles on his fastball. So his velocity actually was down on average. Like on the seasons at 96.5. And to start the season, we saw some 97. So it's natural for that to not be where it needs to be or where we're used to it being. But look out for him to find 2 miles an hour on that fastball. But in the meantime, that's not like it's not something you like to see if you want to roster Eovaldi or if you're a Red Sox fan. You want that velo to come back. And then in that game, we saw a 10% swing and strike rate, which is one of the lower numbers we've seen from him, especially against a team like the Yankees that do strike out a bit. But he was throwing strikes, 80% first pitch strike rate. So a lot to work with, a lot to feel good about. A 3.34 xFIP in that game. I wonder if 8,500 on a 90 pitch count against the Blue Jays is just like meh, right? Blue Jays in a hitter friendly park here. They're not a massive strikeout team anyway. So I'm just kind of wrestling with how much Eovaldi, if any, do I really want to dabble with. I would probably say I wouldn't want more than like 6 to 7%, and if I had none, I don't lose sleep. But we'll deal with that. I think right now he's not a priority, so I'm going to refrain from putting him in the tier 3 for me for now. And then Kevin Gausman on the bump for the Blue Jays, 9,100 on DraftKings. So Gausman started the season super elite, hit like a 20% swing and strike rate, and then all of a sudden he hit like a skid. Well, turns out, at least the organization believes that he was tipping pitches. So one of the things they did to fix that or resolve that was they changed his glove. They got him a bigger glove. Something in his delivery was kind of telling what he was going to throw. Since then, though, it's not like he's had an elite game, but he did drop 36 fantasy points against the Red Sox. 7 innings on the 27th of June with 10 strikeouts. So definitely has that upside, and definitely one of those pitchers that I don't believe he was at the All-Star game. So he had some time to kind of work with trainers and make sure that he's ready to go, and also make sure he's not going to be tipping going forward. His weakness this year has been lefties. He has dropped 8% on his K percentage against left-handed hitters, and we've got plenty of sample size now to be like, oh, okay, this has happened. What he hasn't lost is strikeouts against righties, a 30% K rate against righties. This Red Sox lineup is coming out half and half, 4 lefties and the rest righties. So there's definitely some strikeout potential there. But their highest strikeout guys are lefties, the JBJs, the Jaron Durants, and maybe his K rate to lefties being so low is enough pushback. But I think at 9,100, there's a range of outcomes for 30 that I wouldn't want 0, but it's certainly not a warm and fuzzy, right? Like any snap call or any 1v1 of like Gausman versus Corbin Burns or Scherzer, Logan Webb, like I'm gonna snap call the other way. But in big field tournaments, I think it's fair to have a little bit of Gausman, and like I want to say it's fair to have a little bit of Eovaldi. I have a little bit more worries on the checklist for Eovaldi, pitch count, velocity, the Blue Jays, than I do Gausman in terms of just like problem. Right, I think the Red Sox offense is good enough to make a problem, but I have more concerns with Eovaldi. But I think I'll end up with like 6% Eovaldi in big field tournaments. So I guess it's only fair to list him here. But I'll definitely be like pretty aggressive with the top end, the Maxes and the Burns and stuff like that. The back end is just spinning the wheel, making a deal on a couple guys with the upside. Speaking of upside, the Blue Jays do have some upside, and the Red Sox. They added Garrett Whitlock and help me out. What's the other guy? Whitlock and Tanner Houck back to their bullpen. So their bullpen got a little stronger, and they had Ryan Brazier already. So if this is one of those spots where Eovaldi can get you 5 and then dip into some of the more high leverage arms to kind of go out there and hold this game where it's at, I don't think it's a super solid 9 innings of opportunity for the Blue Jays. With that in mind, so much like if I want to get to the Orioles, I think this bullpen is going to be the best it's going to be in a long time today. But I do think the Blue Jays in Fenway with the heat and all that stuff, wind blowing out, it's going to be worth going after, especially if Eovaldi's fastball doesn't quite have that same life. George Springer, Vladdy Jr., and Danny Jansen have the highest ratings in my bond detector here. None of these guys are at 4, and the same with the Red Sox here. No big grade so far in the bomb detector. Matter of fact, we've only had 1 4 so far. It was like Diego Castillo. So far, the first 3 games, the bomb detector's not loving for power, but it's fine, right? Dude, these freaking bots, bro. Bots are nuts. Got a lot of love coming from these bots. I don't know what it is, man. What up, Doug L? Hope you're doing all right. Let me scroll up. I'm losing stuff here. Showtime or Uncle Charlie? Oof. Probably Charlie, right? No Trout against the Angels that strike out a ton, and then the Braves are really good offensively, so probably Charlie Morton, but Ohtani is a monster. Pittsburgh's so bad against lefties. Yeah, Chuck, it's a good spot for Braxton Garrett's strikeout rate. That's why I added that to the prop list here. What up, Renza? I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to read through it, but there's a lot of bots that are clogging up. Semi-favorable ump in Boston tonight. 6% higher K rate on calls. Okay. Owns the Red Sox. I'll be only 30% Gossman today. That's fair, Doug. I think Gossman. I wish Gossman had his numbers from last year against lefties, but it's fine at 9K to take a stab at a guy like him that can get you 30. 30% is probably aggressive in my book. I don't know. What's like his ownership's probably 15%. I don't know. I'm just guessing, if that. Anyway, let me get the next game typed up. I need a mod. I don't have any mods. I need to get another mod in chat right now. These bots are out of control and I'm not paying attention. All right, let's go to San Diego and the Mets. Padres. So neither one of these lineups are confirmed, which is kind of weird. No ma. You like that new playoff system though, huh? I'm definitely not a I hate change guy when it comes to the playoff system. But what I would say is if we're going to allow 12 teams to make the playoffs, do we need 162 games? Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think baseball seasons are stupid long anyway. But then again, I guess it is fine. But yes, I love more teams in the playoffs, more fan bases being able to sweat something, more Cinderella stories like the Braves or the Nationals a couple years back, right? I just love playoff baseball, bro. It don't even have to be the Yankees. It's captivating. Those crowds get electric. Every pitch matters. Mad Max versus Yu Darvish. Woo-wee. Max certainly one of the guys that I'm going to be leaning on quite a bit tonight. He threw 102 pitches in that last outing against the Chicago Cubs, 11 strikeouts. Has gotten double-digit strikeouts in 2 of his last 3 games, and missed the other one by 1 against the Atlanta Braves. Yeah, strength of schedule on his side. The Reds and the Cubs as 2 of your last 3 matchups is what it is, but Max Scherzer's a beast. So we're going to get to some Max here, but I will taper some expectations because this projected lineup for the Padres really isn't a massive K rate lineup. Mazar gets to 21% K rate against righties the last 2 years. Luke Voit 32% and Trent Grisham 24%. Rest of the lineup's kind of scrappy here, so it's just one of those we're betting on talent with Max. I think he's going to be probably a tier 2 for me. But we're definitely getting to him. And then Yu Darvish on the other side, little bit of rest for him. He's got a 3.85 expected ERA this year, 23% K rate. That's dropped 6% from his K rate last year. And against righties, a 22% K rate. Overall, against lefties, 24%. And it's going to be a half and half lineup. So both lineups are kind of scrappy here. Not a lot of implied strikeouts to be had. So I think I put Darvish in the tier 3. I think Max, I'm just betting on talent a little bit more, just because we know who Max is. But neither one of those guys getting tier 1 for me. But enough respect on both pitchers to really not be too invested in an onslaught stack against. The Padres are really just not a team I get to full stacks these days. The Mets are a little bit closer to a full stackable team for me. A little bit of hit for average, a little bit of speed, and a little bit of pop. I know they're looking for one more bat, it feels like. But the Nimos, Martes, Lindor, Pete Alonso, definitely guys that can be in the player pool. Highest bomb detector rating in this game is coming from Pete Alonso's bat, 3.97. I think that's pretty expected. Yeah. These spots were super. Yeah, right. I like it because a lot of teams get left off for being in the same division. I agree, Chuck. And then next year, not only is there, we got a new playoff format now. Next year, they nuked the schedule, so it's not divisionally based, meaning every team plays every team, and I think it's like an equal amount of time. So like teams can play it in their own division, I think like 18 to 20 times, something like that now. But that's not going to happen next year. So you might see divisions like the AL East be even more stacked in terms of win-loss records. AL East should be allowed 3 or 4 teams, or even an NL West or wherever. Yeah. So with the I don't know how progressive baseball is going to be when it comes to that, but with the universal DH, with the expanded playoff system here, I do wonder if I say this with NBA as well, right? Like, shouldn't just the best 15 teams make it, Because a lot of times the West is more stacked than the East, and we get some super bum teams that limp in there, like, I don't know, Hornets or Wizards, teams like that. Same with baseball. I don't know. I guess there'd never be a perfect system though. It was a lot of division stuff based on having spread out ratings. So currently in first place on PGA Tournament, it was a 25-cent entry fee, cashing 2,000. Let's go. Whatever you need, I'm rooting for it. I'm not too keen on golf. Is today? I know it's a multi-day event. Is this the last day, or is this the first day? Because it's usually Thursday to Sunday, right? Robo-umps in the end. So robo-umps is something I'm so torn on, right? Like, as an Aaron Judge stan, like, I want to punch something every time he gets struck out on a pitch at his ankles. But at the same time, that's kind of like the romanticized, like, good stuff about baseball, right? You're a kid, your grandpa's in the rocking chair yelling at, I don't know, Joe West because he's missing calls. It's kind of like part of the game to be angry about it, and it's fun. But at the same time, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have, I don't know, people that we wouldn't want to drive calling balls and strikes. But that's just one of those, like, I don't know. I don't have a yes or no on that. I always want robo-umps when it screws my team, but at the same time, it is fun to argue with the TV sometimes. I don't know. Assisted calls on strikes and balls, replay maybe. Man, replaying balls and strikes might get a little rough. Maybe a little bit. It's all weekend. Oh, okay. So you got a sweat coming then. Usually the last place I want to be in a tournament is in first place this early, right? It's on Sunday where you want to be. All right, let's get the next game typed up. Angels. So we're gonna go projected Ohtani. What'd you guys think of the All-Star game? I liked it, but I don't know. This year, I wasn't as like enthralled by it as I have been in previous years. There's like a lot of A lot of storylines in the background this year. And a lot of like pitchers that I didn't expect. I don't know. There was like a couple of who's that? Like the guy from the Diamondbacks, the lefty. I forget his name already. I didn't know who he was, much less know him as an all-star. I think they made a good decision on their MVP though, you know. So this Braves lineup is confirmed. Charlie Morton against Shohei Ohtani. So Angels lineup, no Trout, and good golly, Miss Molly, look at all this red in the strikeout column. Luis Rengifo is your 3-hole hitter, and he is the hardest to strike out at 19.3%. Rest of this team is very, very susceptible to strikeouts to righties and in general. And in the Angels last couple years, whenever there's not Trout, whenever there's not Rendon, I cook on him. So Charlie Morton at 8,800. Yeah, we're gonna put him to work tonight. So let's look at his pitch count. I think he's definitely like up there as a 100 pitch guy. 107, 105, 102. Yup. And then his swing and strike rate on the year 11%. And then we know he's going to use the curveball quite a bit. So let's go to the pitch report and check out these Angels against the curveball. Joe Adell is the only guy with a positive grade or positive enough grade. Ohtani, obviously, Taylor Ward slightly above average. And then on top of all that, Morton is going to see more lefties than righties, and his strikeout rate actually a little bit higher against lefties. Now he does have a higher xFIP at 4.25, and he doesn't have his ground ball rate last year against lefties was 45%. It's dropped all the way to 29%. So he's definitely letting the ball up a little bit more, and he's walking lefties a little bit more. So there is a range of outcomes for failure, or at least not for upside or true ceiling outcome. But 8,800, that's a soft landing on like 18 fantasy points, and this is certainly a spot where 30% could hit. So I think I'm going to put Morton as a tier 2 for me, just because I love the matchup. Speaking of which, Charlie Morton, what are we looking at strikeout prop wise? 8 strikeouts? Holy shnikes. 8 strikeouts? Dog. Dude, you barely see like Cole and Scherzer get those type of numbers. Good Lord. I mean, that's just kind of too high to bet, but good God. Bro, that's crazy. They have him at 8 as well on Underdog. I mean, so that makes me feel better about the DFS side of things, but I'm not gonna sweat 8 strikeouts from Charlie Morton. So I'm not gonna leave that one alone. That's wild. That's wild. All right, and then Ohtani against the Braves. So the Braves do have a little bit of propensity to strike out, but they're also really doggone good as a team. They have a 1-4 K rate this season with a 7% walk rate, meaning they're not taking a lot of pitches. They are above average in WRC plus, and they have some heavy hitters: Acuna, Olsen, Riley. So I think that the talent is there to kind of want to take some shares of. So I might get to like a 4% Brave stack, something like that. And then Ohtani at 9K, he just keeps getting it done, even in super tough matchups. So I'm not gonna have no Ohtani. But if I start, ranking guys in terms of matchup difficulty, Ohtani's not going to be at the top, but he just dropped 12 Ks on the Houston Astros, and that's saying something because that's a tough team to kind of get that type of return on. So we'll get Ohtani in the player pool. I'm going to put him as a tier 3. He'll probably be my highest on tier 3, but at the same time, I'm going to have some Brave stacks. Because we know some of those games, Ohtani does have an implosion potential. And then this Angels bullpen has been above average in homers allowed. And did Roth say something about the weather here? Pop-up showers could cause it, but nothing. Okay, and it's 85 degrees, so that's about normal. At least compared to the world. Jesus. Get caught up on chat. As a former ball player myself, I like that Robo brings precision to the game. Also like watching Sleepy Angel Hernandez play. But yeah, so it's like, I don't know, especially if you don't have a team in, like, I watched the Phillies and Brewers game earlier this year on Sunday Night Baseball with Angel Hernandez behind the dish. I don't care who wins that game. but it was entertaining to see everyone want to kill Angel Hernandez. So I don't know. It's just like something extra, but it's just like I get it, right? I understand why it's possibly needed. Is it like self-checkout? Ohtani about to throw 14 Ks and the Braves are my team. You think so, Renza? He might. I'm gonna have both. It's pretty astonishing that Morton's prop was so freaking high. What's Ohtani? So Ohtani's also at 8Ks. God dang, bro. Is that? Look at everyone's checkout props. Okay, so it's not like the board's just straight up broken. Like Max Scherzer has a 7.5K prop, and Morton's sitting at 8. That's wild. There's a lot of low lines here. 5 on Eovaldi, 6 on Gossman, 5 on Giolito. But the Guardians, not really a team I want to pick on. I'll have a little bit of Brave stacks, not stacking Angels. And we'll have some with both pitchers. Let's get out to this Royals game. The Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Royals. Both lineups are confirmed. You know what, chat? I meant to. I don't know why I'm saying this. It's I'm a boomer. I forgot to take some meat out the freezer to thaw it out. Sorry, I gotta remember not to forget after this. Brad Keller taking on Drew Rasmussen. MJ Melendez, a little leadoff catcher action. Whit Merrifield's batting 6. Oh my. Man, this Royals lineup is evolved or devolved. I don't know. Little infusion of the youngsters. Both lineups confirmed. Mentioned the Rays. Rays are in that division, playing to keep the Blue Jays and Red Sox at bay here. So you should go out there and beat a team like the Royals. They are implied minus 135, 4.9 implied run total. Brad Keller, a guy that's going to keep the ball in the ground. 52% ground ball rate to righties this year, 51% essentially to lefties. He's not going to strike you out, though. He's going to dare you to put the ball in play, put his defense to work. So I can't project a ton of power here. Brandon Lau has a 3.9 rating on the bond detector. So in context of this game and this slate so far, it's one of the higher numbers we've discussed. But 4 is still the magic number that we're looking for. And then on the Royals side, not getting big strikeout numbers there. Rasmussen, 4.13 expected ERA. His actual ERA has been performing a lot better. But he's been worse on the road, as expected, not in Tropicana. 4.32 xFIP, 277 average allowed, a 1.3 home run per 9, and a 26.4% line drive rate. So certainly some reasons to be pessimistic about Rasmussen in this spot. And in Kauffman, it is 94 degrees. So maybe the hot weather and the wind blowing out to left center is enough of a boost for the bats here that we get into some trouble here. So I'm willing to get to some Royals bats. I'm kind of willing to get to some of these Rays bats as well. Brandon Lau, Arozarena, G-Man Choi, Isak Paredes, definitely a lane I can get behind. I guess we shouldn't completely dismiss Yandy Diaz. I just don't play him for power. 0.94 ISO against a ground ball guy. I'm not expecting a home run there. So I think if we get runs here, I think Rasmussen's more likely to give up power to righties. So Bobby Witt's in a good spot. Hunter Dozier. I just kind of want to stack the heat and the wind here over anything, right? Bullpen wise, the Royals bullpen has been above average in terms of suppressing homers, but the rest of the category is a lot of red, and then the Rays bullpen has actually got a 105 home run per 9 plus. So I think I want to get into some what if this game gets sloppy stacks, just because of the weather. Probably don't get to neither pitcher if this game was in Tropicana, maybe I'd justify Rasmussen 12% swing and strike rate. But, man, outside of Tropicana, he's just not really been that effective, 18% K rate. So I probably can sit this one out with the high-quality options we have elsewhere at pitcher. And then Brad Keller's just never going to give us upside day-to-day with the 16% K rate anyway. So I probably stay away from that. Although, this is a pretty strikeout-prone lineup. The Rays are rolling out. He might accidentally get some strikeouts. What is this K prop at? Is it 3.5 or am I? Is that 4.5? Yikes! I'm not sweating 5 strikeouts from Brad freaking Keller. No, thank you. What up, Patrick? Houston didn't have Alvarez that game. Houston had Alvarez the second game, and he was available off the bench, so they had Alvarez. He freaking homered. What do you mean? That game, Ohtani has 12 Ks against Astros with no out. Oh, you're talking about that game. 3 bench players, high 10 Ks. Recent bias could be set up for. My bad, Patrick. I thought you were coming at me about the game yesterday. Ohtani's like the Giannis of baseball, armored titan. He's a beast. He's a robot. About to make us forget who Babe Ruth was. Come on, man. Come on, man. Babe Ruth was doing all that crap while being drunk, high, and banging strippers. But I see what you're saying, Patrick, is that it wasn't the A team of the Astros. I think Altuve's been hurt too, right? So could be or I don't know. It's still Ohtani's a beast though, so I'm not gonna overthink it. But I see what you're saying, Patrick. You a Astros fan, bro? Huh? Let's get the Brewers and Rockies game typed up. Is it 100 degrees yet? I feel like it's about to be. Rockies have a 2.8 implied run total. Welcome back. Speaking of Rockies, I saw, was it David Dahl just signed with the Nats? Hello, I am Elias. Good God, bro. Antonio Senzatella against Corbin Burns. Whew. That's a matchup. The Brewers are minus 304. We did see the Blue Jays get to like minus 400 last week when the Royals were in that vaccination game where 40% of their team was out. And then they lost that game where they were minus 400. Baseball's weird. Corbin Burns is 10.2K on DraftKings.com today. He will be my highest owned pitcher. I imagine he's going to be the highest owned pitcher. Just nuts. The pitch count baseline of 100 in the last month. Insane. Double-digit strikeouts. Yup. Facing a Rockies team outside of Coors Field, and he's good. So we're going to put a big old fat tier 1 designation next to Corbin Burns today. We are not going to play Antonio Senzatella. And that's all I got to say about that. Do we play Brewers against Senzatella? So Senzatella is kind of annoying where he's not really giving up a ton of power, right? It's just a lot of ground ball hit for average. But I guess if you get Senzatella out the game in 3 innings, who knows what's coming out? And if you're going to dare like a Rowdy Tellez to put the ball in play, Willie Adames has a 391 rating in the bottom sector. Hunter Renfroe's up there as well. So yeah, I guess we do get to some Brewers, but we'll wait for the confirmed lineup to really make a strong decision. This is what I'm saying, man. We don't have all the games typed up yet, but bomb detector wise, we've got 4 guys so far with the 4 rating. We can't play Ohtani. We're probably not going to want to play Castillo. We got Danny Jansen, who's in the 9 hole. Judge is always going to. Right now, it's just Judge. So with every team hitting the reset button, having their better pitchers available today, and then their better pitchers in the bullpen, this might be like I don't know. It's going to be hot, so I expect the Heat to win out. But projection wise, man, it's kind of a lullaby Friday so far, but we're only about halfway through, so maybe it gets better. Maybe it gets better. I'm a Cubs fan in Chicago right now, about to move to Colorado Springs. 2 months, get cheap season tickets. That's pretty cool, man. I was looking at Colorado. I want to move. It's on my heart to move. I gotta get the F out of this 106-degree temperature, right? I want winters back. So, and my state's just been weird lately. And then on top of all that, I don't have legal sports betting here. So it's been on my heart pretty heavy for the last year or so to relocate to a state that has sports betting. And I was looking at Colorado because it's beautiful, and there's a lot of stuff, laid back, lax laws. But lately, a dark horse showed up for me, and maybe some of you guys are out there. I was thinking about Tennessee, and I was talking to my boy Craig Bennett, his YouTube channel. If you guys have probably seen it, if you play PrizePicks, we were playing Fort the other night. He was looking at Tennessee as well. There's a lot of check boxes, right? No state tax, sports betting's there. It's just a beautiful place. Maybe cost of living is reasonable. So, do we have any Tennessee cats out there, man? Would you recommend moving to Tennessee? Because I'm thinking about it. On 420, Ohtani did it to their roster with Alvarez playing. Okay. Wong looked decent. Colton Wong. I mean, nothing stellar, but nothing bad, right? 188 ISO. So, yeah, not a big strikeout guy. Barrel rate's 4.8%. It's whatever. If you need somebody, I think he's there. But yeah. Nevada sports betting is legal. Well, in Nevada, DFS isn't legal. I gotta have DFS. Well, then you're the only 10. Okay, Brian. Little Chattanooga. Let's get the Guardians typed up. Unless they recently reinstated DFS in Nevada. From my recollection, DFS was not legal. Which is crazy, right? Of all states, right? The state with Las Vegas, letting you play DFS. But that's what I thought. But if they've reinstated it, maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like I'm not. Definitely gotta have DFS as well, though. Documents too large. Wait, am I good? Did I lose? There we go. For some reason, I lost connection. Now, I've been to Tennessee a few times, but I've never, it was always, driving through. I remember I was driving to Philadelphia one year, and I stayed in a town called Crossville, Tennessee, and it was so country. Not necessarily in a bad way, but it was kind of, humorous as well. It was cringe. I remember I went to the Waffle House or something, and we had a 15-year-old waitress, and everyone was hitting on her. I'm like, this is a child. What's wrong with you people? And that was 10, 12 years ago. Now people are getting canceled and they know better, but god dang, bro, I was ready to fight random strangers in a Waffle House in freaking Tennessee. Guardians have a 3.9 run total, 4.8 over here on the White Sox. So Giolito, a couple of you guys have asked about Giolito. As much as he struggled this year, 4.5 expected ERA, he didn't really lose out on the K rate, 27% overall K rate this season. But it's not a big strikeout lineup anyway. The Guardians are actually one of the best teams at not striking out, 17.7% K rate against righties this season. There's a little lane where you can get some strikeouts to Jimenez, Fanduel, Reyes, Nolan Jones, Austin Hedges. But the rest of this lineup's kind of scrappy. The pushback is Giolito's under 8K, so we don't need that 30 fantasy point performance like we did maybe last year. And he also has maintained a healthy strikeout rate against lefties and has struggled a lot more against righties. And the better bats for the Guardians will be lefties. So there's enough pushback and ranges of outcomes where you could see 7,800 giving you 16 as an SP2. On DK, I don't think I would trust him with my Fanduel lineups, but on DK, I think that he's there in big field tournaments. I also think we get to a couple Guardians as well. Ramirez, Josh Naylor, usually the guys I lean on the most, but I would say to his credit, Franmil Reyes has an opportunity to maybe tap into this 2.39 homer per night for Giolito here if he can make contact. So a little bit of a scumdacker spot, right? A little bit. And then Cal Quantrill, I have really no interest in him. A 4.52 expected ERA on the season, 14.9% K rate. There's just not enough in those numbers for me on this slate to want to invest in. So we get to a little Giolito, that's cool. It'd be a DK only thing for me. White Sox stack, yeah. Quantrill's definitely attackable. White Sox were starting to put things together before the break. Lineup starting to flatten out a little bit more, balance out a little bit more. But Makata back, Gavin Sheets there. This projected lineup though, pretty righty heavy. Who's the other? I feel like there's another lefty that we're missing out on. Is it? I guess Grandal's the switchy, but I don't know. Anderson, Makata, Robert, Abreu, and Jimenez. I guess Sheets as well. Those would be the core focus for me. Twice in the last month, I've joked about Josh Harrison not hitting a homer, and then he's homered. So I'm not gonna make that joke because it'll happen. But 1 through 6, maybe 1 through 7 for the White Sox for me. So let me get that in the mix a little bit. I'm not in love with any of these 5-man stacks yet, bro. So far, it's been really like low on the projections. You just become an illegal immigrant and not pay any taxes. So, I mean, speaking of that, I even looked at moving to Canada, but it's hard to justify that move because like to get a visa you need like an employer. I'm self-employed, so I just felt like I wouldn't be able to finesse that. So I don't know. Tennessee's great. I heard a lot of amazing things from a friend who said if he had one place to move in the United States, it would be Tennessee. Yeah, I have a friend that just moved to Tennessee too, and really cheap land out there. But I don't really care about the land. I just want to have 4 seasons of weather and be able to play on sports betting, you know. And if I have easier access to sports betting, then I can put out a lot more like content in that space. I've rejected a few deals and I've had to negotiate a few deals where they wanted some sports betting stuff out of me, and I don't know, I just have a little bit of more morality issue where I don't like to recommend crap if I can't personally play it. That's why DFS, you know, I could do it all day. PrizePicks and Underdog kind of help bridge the gap a little bit because I can get action on all the props there. But yeah, last year I did have to turn down a couple of. I didn't have to, but I did it out of the just conscience. Fields on Morton and not Otani. That makes sense. Lived in Henderson, Nevada for a year back in 2020. Couldn't sports bet on DraftKings and missed so many good opportunities. Yeah, man. Those same game parlays, the $1 to 100K, all that fun stuff. But yeah, I want it. Would you still need to pay federal taxes if you're American living in Canada? That's a good question, Dennis. I would imagine if you're a resident there for the majority of the year, like if you're just a resident, probably not. But that's a good question. I don't know. The reason why, so in Canada, you don't have to pay taxes on gambling winnings, which is really fun. And it's also why, like, when was it Toronto, whoever province Toronto's in, our boy Raj, he lives in it. He got impacted from it, where they legalized sports betting, but then it took DFS from him. And that's kind of what happened in Nevada as well. But unless it's your job, you don't have to pay taxes on gambling winnings. So that's pretty nice to have. There's no PrizePicks in Tennessee. Well, if there's sports betting, I can offset it. Why wouldn't there be PrizePicks in Tennessee? I don't know. But I would much rather bet 1-to-1 on props than parlay it. What's up, Alex? Chat, we got just under 100 of you guys. 40 likes. You guys do me a favor, hit that like button. And then also, we've talked about PrizePicks. We've talked about Underdog. I'm sure you guys know it. If you guys haven't signed up for either, I think Underdog might be the site most of you guys haven't signed up for yet. They have a lot of best ball drafts for NFL. I mean, they got some big, juicy contests. We're talking millions of dollars at stake. $1 million to the highest scoring team through round 1 in the Best Ball Mania 3. They just keep throwing it out. It's like snake drafting. If you guys haven't got on it, you definitely should. I know DraftKings has some best ball stuff up as well. If you sign up using code GUNDACKER, I'll put a link in chat. They'll double your first deposit up to $100. It's going to be the same for the PrizePicks link as well. It's a good way to support the stream, support the channel, all that good stuff. If you do sign up with my code, let me know on Discord. We have a free Discord, and we have some roles that just kind of like show some love. Link in the description below to our free Discord. Look a little something like this. A lot of the action in this Discord is a little bit more prop centric, but definitely if you're a DFS chatter, definitely get in there, talk some DFS, tag me. I don't mind chatting it up a lot. I think we're almost at like 800 people in it, so I expect when football comes back, it'll really jump up and get cray. A certain amount of foreign income you can write off, but if you're a U.S. citizen, you have to file taxes every year. That makes sense. In my case, dude, I get to write off so much stupid stuff. Like it's meticulous and it's annoying, and like I'd almost rather just take the standardized deduction. But like I've written off PlayStations, computers, TVs. So I don't know. It's not. I get a lot of, I don't want to say breaks, so I have to pay back a lot. But I don't know. Gambling lobby doesn't want DFS and PrizePicks in their states. Same thing happened in Louisiana when they got sports books. Yeah, I think Florida is kind of in the middle. But I could do without. I love PrizePicks. I could do without PrizePicks if I got sports betting. Just send Sleepy list all your gripes and he'll respond to you. All right. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm gonna leave that one alone. All right, Chad, let me back up just a second. We got a couple lineups confirmed. Let's see if this confirms or any thoughts that we might have had. So Yankees lineup came out. Got LeMahieu, Judgy, Rizzo, Stanton, Donaldson. Jose Trevino's batting 6. Excuse me. IKF. Ooh, Tim LeCastro's in the lineup. We likey. Joey Gallo. So Tim LeCastro, he broke the slate in that Sunday before the All-Star break. Absolutely went nuts. Now, I don't expect LeCastro to homer ever, but he did in that game. But what we do expect from him is the stolen bases. He had 2 stolen bases in that game against Boston, and he is one of the fastest, if not the fastest player in baseball. He had like a torn ACL last year that kind of put him down a little bit, but he's like old school Billy Hamilton, right? He's got speed. So if he gets on base at bare bones min on Fanduel and 2,500 on DK, definitely has a chance to, not a chance, he will go. Like I think that's his only goal in life is steal bases when he gets on. So hey, and he also is one of the league leaders in infield hits when he puts the ball in play. So I love him. He's a little fun guy to sweat in DFS. So him being in the lineup is nice. Cubby's lineup came out. Ortega, Contreras, Seiya Suzuki is batting 3rd. Ian Happ is batting cleanup. Nico Horner, I shouldn't have touched that. Patrick Wisdom batting 6th. Frank Schwindel. So basically the projected lineup, just a couple of difference in the order. And then Chris Morel. Frank Schwindel. There we go. Doesn't change much. Let's see. Blue Jays lineup. Blue Jays and Red Sox. The Blue Jays. Tapia's leading off. No Springer. Where my Blue Jays? Right? Where's Raj at, bro? Springer just gonna never play. Gurriel, Matt Chapman, Jansen. All right. Changes a little bit of oomph out of that lineup. Padres lineup came out. Profar, Cronenworth, Machado, Zara, Voit, Hosmer, Nola, Grisham, Abrams. Literally as projected. Yay! All right, we're cool. We're back to our regularly scheduled typing. Ukraine has some favorable tax situations. This guy with his guyness. right, chat. Y'all are, we're starting to go off the rails. Off the rails. What game are we on? The Rangers and Athletics, I think. Yeah, Rangers and Athletics. You guys are great. By the way, chat, tomorrow, no stream on this channel. We'll be on the Stochastic channel, I believe, with our boy Terry. Kind of like the weekend crew over there. So if you're looking for me tomorrow afternoon, we'll be over there. Neither lineup for the Rangers and Athletics confirmed yet. Boy, this is a baseball game, right? The Rangers and the Athletics. Spencer Howard and Cole Irvin. Hottest ticket in town in Oakland. Good God. You know, in NBA, there's some games we just X out. We all Xing this one out. Like, we don't care what happens here. All right, both pitchers suck. Both offenses suck. It's the unstoppable force, immovable object. Big pitchers park here. 18% K rate on Howard with a 1.74 whip, a 6.5 expected ERA. Cole Irvin, 16% K rate, 4.7 expected ERA. The whip at 1.1, so that's good. So basically what we're saying is neither pitcher really has strikeout upside here. The Athletics can sometimes give away strikeouts. Offensively, both pitchers are bad enough to where I'd be somewhat interested in the opposing team. I'm more inclined to get to the Rangers offensively as a stack than the Athletics. If we look at the bottom detector, Marcus Semien, Jonah Heim, both 3.9 plus ratings in the bomb detector. And then Seager, Adolis Garcia, you know, especially Adolis Garcia, you can neutralize that 33% K rate with a 16% K rate on Irvin. And it's a positive split, almost a 200 ISO. I think you get there. I think we get to a couple of these Rangers bats, but it would be pretty isolated in terms of the top four in this projected for me. It's not confirmed yet, but it would be Semien and Seager, Garcia, and some Heim if I wanted to get to Ranger stacks. And if I spun the wheel on a couple of these guys in the bottom of the order, cool. Athletics as a stack, I've literally never stacked the Athletics this season. If you wanted to get to a Laureano, Murphy, Seth Brown, those guys, those would be the main guys I'd target. But this is just an ugly, ugly spot. But I will include the Rangers down here. But this part could still some upside. In quotations, laser beam. Does MLB have a red zone like broadcast anywhere? I don't believe so. I think MLB Network will check in on games throughout the night, but it's not quite like red zone. To be fair, we look at Leody Taveras box score and splits versus lefties. All right, cool. I got you. Leody. It's just like in baseball. You know, in football, you get in the red zone. In baseball, Judge could hit solo homer. It could be, but like you don't know. I guess if like bases are loaded, you'd want to tune in on that. But yeah, batting .500 against lefties in 22 at bats. Has 3 doubles, 1 homer. So far, so good for Taveras against lefties this season, but only 22 at bats, so a little bit noisy. We go back to last year, 55 at bats, 182 average. So hits come in bunches, right? If you're really like wanting to know, we could always check on his minor league numbers. Although I don't know that he's been down. I feel like I've typed his name all year, so it's probably been a while. Then again, who knows? Leody. That's a unique name, but that would be cool, and for basketball as well. He has been down. He's batting .354 in the minors with the .891 OPS. No homers, 3 triples, 5 doubles. So I guess he's just a speed guy, and he gets to leg out some power. Couple games left. D-backs hosting the Nationals. So the Paul Blackburn catching a ride with the Houston Astros story was funny. And then it came out that Juan Soto had to fly coach. Oh, God. And you know, pettiness just days after they kind of announced that he was rejecting that massive contract. Some baseball is just out here being different. But I think, I don't want to say it's uncommon, but I don't think these players flying coach or whatever to the All-Star game is as uncommon as I don't know, as the sensationalized storytellers would have us believe this year. I feel like it's a thing. And I also feel like are we mad that one guy didn't have a whole plane dedicated to him to send him to Los Angeles? Like, I don't know. Aren't we the same people hating on the televangelists for doing the same crap? So I don't know. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I should be angry, but there's a lot of outrage about Juan Soto having to fly coach or commercial, not coach. Excuse me. D-backs lineup is confirmed. Zach Gallen on a bump for the D-backs. Patrick Corbin, a little bit of revenge game. He's back. Facing this D-backs team that has a 92 WRC plus this year against lefties, but man, oh man, has Corbin been not great. A 1.62 home run per 9 to righties this year, 2.4 last year. Carson Kelly, Luke Lowe are going to look really, really good. We finally have some action in the bomb detector, meaning 3-4 guys from the same team have 4+ ratings, and it's 1 through 4 on the D-backs confirmed lineup. So yeah, we'll be in on some of that. And then of course, Juan Soto's always in play. He's 5,900 on DK, 4K on Fanduel. Zach Gallen, 3.83 expected ERA, 23% K rate. Nationals are one of those teams where they're not good, but they don't strike out a ton. And Juan Soto and Josh Bell, two guys on the trade block, are the problems here. So once those two get moved, if they get moved, man, are we going to be like tempting fate every night trying to pitch against a 19-20% K rate team with no power. 7,600 on Gallen feels pretty low, right? He doesn't have like pristine expected ERA, xFIP, all that stuff, but at 7,600 there is a soft landing there. 16 to 20 fantasy points, kind of what I'd be looking for. At home this season, he's averaging 16, so kind of on the low end of what I would love for tournament ceiling, but I could see people justify playing him. Maybe it's more of a late slate only type of play. But we do like the D-backs against Corbin. We will always stack against Patrick Corbin. In this house, we stack against Corbin. That's just what we do. What up, Sean? Turn down the contract. Dude is worth more. He is. What up, Travis? Why would he accept a 15-year contract? So I think his agent is Scott Boras, right? Scott Boras. I just assume Scott Boras is the agent for every good player in the league. And he plays chess, not checkers. A lot of what he does with players is to set precedents for others. I think Juan Soto is going to be the highest paid player of all time when he does get his deal. But it's a unique spot, though, especially for like contender teams. So like, I'm not a delusional Yankee fan that thinks we could have everybody ever. But this is a unique spot for contending teams like the Yankees that clearly have a window, because Juan Soto still has 3 years on his contract, like this year, next year, and the next. So you could say, hey, I just want Juan Soto for this window, and what's a World Series worth, right? The Chicago Cubs gave away Gleyber Torres to rent out Chapman, but it got them a World Series. Yeah, years later, they traded away the whole team, and now they're rebuilding. But what's a World Series worth, right? How many people waited 100 years for the Cubs and crying, old people before they died got to see the Cubs win, blah, 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 blah. What is a World Series worth? I think there are contenders in the next 3 years that could say, hey, it's worth getting Juan Soto for 3 years, even if you're not going to extend him. So this is one of the more captivating possible trades I can remember in MLB in a while. And it also like makes me think that the Yankees might have a shot. But it's going like it's definitely a like long term. You don't see Soto and Judge on the same team contract wise, but if he's on the same contract for 3 years, would you give up an Oswaldo Perez, a Jason Dominguez, a Volpe, somebody like that? I don't know. It wouldn't stun me. Mariners hosting the Astros. Jose Urquidy taking on Marco Gonzalez. Astros played 2 games yesterday. Urquidy on the bump, 1.25 whip this season, 4.7 expected ERA. Marco Gonzalez, we're not doing that. He has a 4.74 expected ERA, 5.15 Sierra. His actual ERA is definitely outperforming both of those metrics. We know the story with Marco, man. He's a fly ball guy. This year against righties, a 35% fly ball rate. He's actually like he spin that a little bit. How do you do that? 52% fly ball rate last year, 43% the year before. He's dropped to 34% with a 47% ground ball rate. He's gone all Tariq Skubal on us. Let me look at that. That's interesting. I didn't realize he was doing that because I never play him. Juan Soto would definitely look good in Yankee Stadium. And then, as you know, one of the biggest Judge fans on the planet, Judge walked. Well, a 23-year-old prodigy just might be. So let me look at pitch types for Marco. Chat, anybody smarten me up? Save me some time here on why the heck Marco Gonzalez is a ground ball pitcher now. 38% fly ball or fastball, 16% is the cutter. A lot of lefties pick up the cutter and changes a lot. Last year, no, he had cutter last year. Curveball, changeup, fastball. This is the same pitch mix, right? Why are we ground balling now? Maybe it's an arm slot. Huh. Anyway, despite a higher ground ball number, he still has a 1.2 homer per 9 to righties, 1.5 against lefties. So the Astros are going to look pretty decent here. Let's see, Yordan Alvarez, 3.86 rating in the bomb detector. Marco Gonzalez allows a higher average to lefties and doesn't strike lefties out at all. So we're definitely going to get into some Astros stacks pretty liberally. Astros, let's get them in there. And then I don't think I want to get to Mariner stacks. It'd be just kind of one-off Julio and maybe 1 through 3. Although Urquidy is definitely attackable. Urquidy has a 2.3 homer per 9 this year against righties. So Rodriguez, maybe Eugenio Suarez, those guys. I don't think I'm definitely not pitching either pitcher though. Let's get caught up on chat. Elaine, what up? What's up with Josh and Eric? They created a new channel. If you follow them on Twitter or if you're in the Discord, there's a link to it. Saying that some teams in MLB don't seem interested in winning though. Yeah, unfortunately that's the formula in pro sports right now. Tanking, as you see with the Astros, has long-term rewards. Blue Jays like Fenway. Love that Springer is out and Tapia thrown into leadoff could take more ownership away from the Blue Jay stack. Yeah, I mean, it would, yeah. I would imagine that Springer, if he was in the lineup, would have been higher owned than what Tapia ends up. But I agree with that sentiment, Brian. I feel like there's a lot of teams owned by business groups looking for profit, and it's just like, man, let them be owned by money marks like Steve Cohen, right? Doesn't know what he's doing, but it's fun to watch. Watching Gossman pitch is one of the most frustrating things ever. Guy was definitely tipping because, man, did he look lost out there. Yeah, that new glove hopefully fixes him. Played 2 games yesterday, rival with the travel after. Okay, Sean. I'm definitely stacking the shows here. But Marco is a troll, so it wouldn't stun me if Marco kept him at bay. All right, we got 1 game left on the docket. Before we do that, we take a pause for the cause. We have the year-end pass over at rundfs.com. $300 gets you locked in until January 1st. You get a $100 credit towards Fantasy Cruncher, so you rebate that down to $200. That's going to encompass the rest of MLB, daily Discord chats. The only day I take off is Sundays, but even then, a lot of times I've got the spreadsheet updated. And the daily pre-lock voice chats, and then of course that'll get you cranked up for most of the NFL season, and then the first part of basketball. So I think that's one of our best values out there, because obviously when football comes around, there's gonna be like $500, $600 packages up there. So go take advantage of that, or just try a week pass, see if you like it. I also try and post some of my favorite PrizePicks plays whenever I do, get some action going over there. Main event of the evening, the Giants and the Dodgers. Austin Slater, Wilmer Flores, Darren Ruff. I feel like the Giants face lefties more than any other team, and I always have to have the same conversation where I love this team as a Cinderella stack against lefties, but as soon as the righty comes in, we're starting to platoon. Joey Bot. So it goes without saying we're stacking Dodgers always, but Logan Webb is super solid. So we're just kind of banking on talent, or at least I'm stacking Dodgers. But what I do want to look at is the bullpen report from yesterday for the Dodgers. They had to use a lot of arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arms out of the pen yesterday. But I guess all these guys could probably pitch 2 days in a row, so maybe it's nothing. But 2 of these guys are lefties, so I do wonder. Logan Webb, a 3.49 expected ERA, 21.4% K rate. You like to see that K rate come up a little bit more. I'm not going to be that enthralled with pitching him against the Dodgers anyway. If I end up with none, I end up with none. Tyler Anderson's kind of the question mark here. Do they try and get a little length out of him after going to that bullpen quick yesterday? 3.1 expected ERA, 102 whip, 21% K rate. The actual ERA is doing a little bit better than the Sierra, but his numbers are pretty good. 9K is probably a little too much to feel comfortable here, but I could understand a stab or two of really both pitchers if you have a larger risk tolerance. But I don't necessarily feel inclined or pressured to get there with the guys we already have at the top end. So I'm not going to get there a lot, but I probably will allow those guys in the pool and probably cap them low-hanging ceiling, 6%, 7%, just because I think they're like they have the opportunity. But I'm also pretty interested in both offenses. So a little scumdacker spot. I love this Giants lineup against lefties, specifically this version. If we got a Slater, Flores, Ruff, Longo, Mercedes, that's like my favorite 5 guys you could put in a row against lefties on the same team. So I'll take my chances here. And Tyler Anderson, even though his home run per 9 is 0.8 on the season against righties, it's not like built on the back of like a 60% ground ball rate. He only has a 35% ground ball rate. He allows the ball in the air. The line drive rate's pushing 20%. So there might be some home run regression there, right? There was a 1.71 last year. Maybe you meet in the middle somewhere. And this is just a really talented team against lefties. So I'm gonna nominate both of them, Giants and Dodgers. So welcome to the stack list. And that's what we got there. So chat, any questions, comments, concerns, throw them at me, and then we'll get out of here. And maybe we'll look at the board. Is that really Eric, or is that a troll account? What up, Eric? If that's really Eric, we'll hit him with the mod. If it's not, then shout out to Eric though. Yo, you guys should be seeing Eric's daily videos on the Odd Shopper channel if you are grinding PrizePicks. He grinds a lot harder than I do on putting the videos up in time. We stacking high price pitchers tonight. What's the plan? Stacking pitchers. So I mean, Max and Corbin Burns, absolutely. I'll see how much overlap I can get between them. But like I said, now that we've gone through every game, there's only a couple of teams that give me a lane of 4+ ratings in a bomb detector. So yeah, I can get to some of these middling price teams a little bit easier with the high-end pitcher. And I think that's what happens when we hit that reset button, is there's just better pitching available, better bullpen arms available. So even though the weather's pretty hot universally, we might have a lower scoring slate just because of the talent at pitching being a little bit better. Maybe some of these bats a little lazy on the Netflix week off, right? Jay Gentle. All right, and then while I was on that last game, there was a couple lineups that may have came out that might change something, but I don't think a lot. So we got that Marlins lineup that came out. Joey Wendell, Gary Cooper, Aguilar is batting third. Brian Anderson is batting cleanup. Ivy Garcia is batting fifth. Miguel Rojas, Jorge Soler, Jesus Sanchez, and Nick Fortes. So nothing really changes fundamentally there. Still not pitching Zach Thompson. I still like Braxton Garrett, though. Mets lineup did come out. We got Nimmo, Marte, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Eduardo Escobar, Guillermo, Travis Blankenhorn. There's a name. Tomas Nido. All right, let's do some research on Blankenhorn because, one, it's just an incredible name. Blankenhorn. Let's see if we have any crazy numbers to go off of. He has it's not great. 819 OPS, could be better, could be worse. 340 OBP, 8 stolen bases, 12 bombs, and 261 at bats. See if he has a positive split against righties. I mean, it's you freaking Darvish, so it's probably not going to build it. I just want to be familiar with who he is. 289 average against righties, 922 OPS does get better. 11 homers in 173 at bats. So that's who Travis Blankenhorn is. Finkel is Blankenhorn. Blankenhorn is Finkel. Is it an imposter? Stop it. That's one way to get my. All right, so let's green light that one. Angels. All right, I think. Oh, Guardians and White Sox, but I already had them, right? Or did we? No, we didn't. All right. Guardians, Stephen Kwan, Ahmed Rosario, Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, Owen Miller, Andres Jimenez, Nolan Jones, Luke Male, and Miles Straw. So, chat, the next live stream on this channel should be Monday. Like I said, tomorrow afternoon, make sure you're on the Stochastic channel. I'll be with Terry. We always have fun talking baseball. I think me and Terry might be the nerds of baseball. We don't ever go off the rails. It's always just baseball. Oh, Yasmani Grandal's in the lineup. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. So this is. I guess there's no Gavin Sheets. That would have been fun to really balance this lineup out. But Grandal's in the lineup with Moncada. So 1 through 5, 1 through 6 becomes fun again. And that's that. So let's resort the bomb detector. I'll let you guys screenshot it. When we get more teams, I'll tweet it out. I'll prove it. Just tell me how. I mean, I don't know. Like a tweet on Twitter or something. So Nolan Jones, Ketel Marte. So a lot of D-backs up here in the bomb detector. Ketel Marte, Carson Kelly. Then a couple of Giants, Ruff, Longoria. Luplo, go back to the D-backs. We can't play Ohtani, Christian Walker. So basically stacking against Patrick Corbin, not Corbin Burns. And we're good. So really quiet night for the bomb detector. So I'm going to be pretty intense on pitching for sure. And that's going to do it. So you guys got anything else? Make sure in the free Discord, link to that's in the description below. Looks a little something like this. I'll try and round some of my favorite PrizePicks props. I'll post them in here. And then for those of you guys that are channel members, I'll also post them in there. Easier access. Right? Yeah. It's 140 in my parts. Send me dog pictures, puppy pictures, man. Eric's got the most awesome dog. What up, Adine? Every night, Eric first blank brushes his teeth and then blank with his... Can't do it. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. I think we're good. Bad idea. Wanted to take a shot on the lowest owned pitcher. I haven't looked at ownership yet. Herman is the same old homer prone self. Domingo Herman. Yeah, I don't think Domingo Herman, JP Sears, like the Yankees are not really going to be leaning on those guys. I really hope, one, we need Severino back, but two, I think they're going to pick up a pitcher. My heart's set on Luis Castillo, but I know we can't have everyone. But they'll probably like find somebody in the, I don't know, Pirates bullpen that is the best pitcher in baseball. This is on the week code time. It's definitely Eric. He said tip to tip. Oh my gosh. All right, chat. I guess that's it, man. I'm gonna get you guys out of here. Make sure you check out the strategy show, the live before lock over on Stochastic. That should be cranking up pretty soon. Eric, are you on that? I don't know if you're on that, but if you're on, check out Eric. Tell him I sent you. I'm gonna get out of here. Make sure to go to rundfs.com. Get yourself a week pass. Get yourself that year-end pass, whatever it is. DM me if you have any questions. Twitter.com/Gundacker. Appreciate you guys hanging out, making part of my day be part of your day. Hey, tell somebody you love them, because I love you. Check up on somebody in the hot temperature, man. Make sure you got everyone taken care of. See you later. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money. Peace.